Okay, hopefully this is better. Sorry. If it's still blurry, I'm just going to switch over to TikTok. Oh, we should be good. Hey, hello. How's everybody? Is it better or no? Hopefully it's better. Clear but backwards. Okay. That should be easy to fix. Is it backwards for everybody else? I think that's gonna flip it. Yeah. Good. Hello. I don't know how to, you're talking about like this right here. I don't know how to make it where it's not different. I'm sorry. I thought that YouTube automatically did that, but I guess not. Okay, this is the Kiana bag that I am making. The pattern, I think I linked the pattern in the description if you would like to purchase it. So I'm going to start with the shoulder strap. Grab some double-sided tape. Better. Okay, I'm back. I was in the wrong live. Oh no. I'm going to need you, Daph, and my other moderators, because I don't go live very often here, and I always worry about, you know, those people that come in with not the best intentions. Looks fine. Okay. Good. I hope this works out. I don't know why I always feel so like nervous about coming on YouTube, but not with TikTok. I mean, live is live, right? We gotcha. Thank you. All right, so this is the shoulder strap. I like to make the shoulder straps first just to get them out of the way. That way, when I'm done with the bag, I don't have to wait another couple minutes to make the strap. I can just kind of put it all together. Gotta figure it out again. That's exactly what it is. My husband is downstairs on the phone, so I apologize if you guys hear him. How is everybody's weekend going? So weird to be up here on a Sunday, but I finished. I mean, we went to church this morning, and then I made my husband some lunch, and then I was like, there are leftovers in the fridge. Enjoy yourself. I can't wait to make her making one. Oh, I love that. Oh, hey, Beth. I made a ton of cookies yesterday. Nice. My husband tries to bring home cookies from work, and I'm like, get out of here, Satan. We don't need any sweets in this house. I don't. Okay, let me get this sewn up. I love using this seam guide when making shoulder straps. My grandson's birthday party yesterday at church this morning. Oh, good. How was the birthday party? for this cut. Just gotta get to sewing. Just do it. Just do it. It's a great pattern. I wouldn't say that it comes together quickly because there's quite a few steps and pattern pieces, but once you're done with it, it's just so rewarding. Shoulder strap is done. Just gonna singe the ends of my thread. Okay, so I'll show you the pattern that we're doing and then we'll just jump right into it. So this is the pink and gray plaid. I know that I've made an Aries with this before, and then I'm using a dark gray coordinating vinyl, and then I'm using this really pretty diamond gray. I got this from Joanne. Excuse me. So I know I've made one in an Aries before, and the Kiana is kind of like a large Aries, if you want to kind of think about it like that. Structural is a little bit differently, straps is a little bit differently, but it's very similar. It's just a little bit bigger. All right, so let me start with the interior. So I prepped a little bit of the interior yesterday. This is going to be the gusset. And then on one side of the interior, we have a dual slip pocket. It's a nice size pocket. You can put like a little notebook in here, whatever. And then on the other side, we have a zipper pocket. I use the zipper overlay that we put on the outside of the bag, and I just added it to the inside. I wanted just another little pop. So this is on one side, this is on the other side. I kind of wanted the gray vinyl to kind of mirror each other. I got your letters. Yay, I can't wait to get them. I want to put purse feet on them. What's a good measurement? For the Kiana, let's see. Let's grab the bottom. So here's the bottom of the Kiana. I would say, I don't want to get the measurements in. I would say an inch from each side, and then probably 3 inches in. So an inch from the edge and then 3 inches from each side. That's what I would do. So it would be right here and right here. That's what I would do with purse feet for the Kiana. I'm not sure if the pattern had a suggestion or a recommendation. I love the zipper overlay too. I kind of want to get into the habit of doing it for all of the inside of my bags. Happy birthday! Thanks for spinning it with me. Okay, so this bag has a zipper panel closure. So what we're going to do is create that first. I get Zipper by the Yard for most of my zippers from Wawak. I really like the quality of their zippers. I will say that they don't have a ton of selection, but I really like them. All right, so just like with any zipper panels, I'm going to sew open the edge. So I'm going to make a mark 1 inch down from the end of it. I'm going to fold down at that mark, pinch it with my fingers, and then I'm just going to push up the back so that it is at a 90-degree angle. And then I just kind of use my fingers to get that situated. I'm going to pin it in place and then do the same thing with the other side. Yes, I got kicked off. Oh no! I had gone live like a few minutes before I started this one, and it was just kind of a mess. I was trying to use my other phone, and we recently changed internet, so I hadn't updated the Wi-Fi on the other phone, which is probably why the video wasn't that great, but we're back. All right, so now all I'm going to do is sew down the edge of each side. Alrighty, and then I'm just going to trim off the excess. I'm going to do it over my trash can so it doesn't go flying across the room. And then I like to seal the sides just by hitting it with a lighter. Okay, now if you've never seen me make this bag before, it's a little bit different than the normal zipper panels that I use. I use cotton, and the way that I design this pattern, I use Decaville Light on the inside of both sides of the panel. So this is going to be the top and the bottom. The zipper is going to go in between those. And that adds structure. It strengthens your cotton. It also just allows your cotton to have a finished edge because you're essentially folding the cotton over so that you have a finished edge on the top. A couple of people who have purchased the pattern have wanted to omit the cotton, which I totally get, but I would encourage you to use it. It adds such a pop of color on the top of the bag. And it, even though it's cotton and not vinyl, it's very durable. I actually made myself one and took it to Vegas, so I was in and out of that pocket literally the whole time I was there, and it's still standing up really well. So I'm going to add a piece of double-sided tape. That's going to hold the zipper in place while I'm sewing it. And where it's laid is outside of my seam allowance, so I'm not going to be sewing over the double-sided tape. I use 1/2 inch, which is going to be wide enough to hold both the top and the bottom together. So it's going to hold the zipper in place, and then you're going to have a little more exposed, and that's going to hold the other end together, the other side. Hi, Kathy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lay this down, making it nice and centered. There we go. So it's going to hold our zipper down, and then we still have some of that tape for the other side to hold it down. And I just line up the edges. So that's going to be one side. I'm actually going to move my zipper over just a touch. You hear my husband. Can you guys hear him? Hi, Beauty in a Stitch. I love trying the inside fabric for the outside. Yes, me too. You can always use vinyl, but I'm telling you, I love just the different vibe it gives the bag. And it's on the top of the bag, so it's going to be one of the first things that you see when you open it up or look down. Oh, okay, good. I'm sure being with him, I've lost some of my hearing just because he just talks so loud. Okay. Just going to reposition my zipper. And then I'm going to go ahead and sew it down. Okay, that side is all done. I'm on a passport kick. How many have you made? Those are actually really good gifts to give if you're making them for like Christmas. Okay, that is done. And now I'm going to trim this down so I can add my zipper end to it. Anytime I cut a zipper, I love to hit it with a lighter, just in case. 7, oh my goodness, you are on a roll. And then the zipper end is also cotton with the Decaville on the inside. So when we fold it over, it'll have 2 layers of Decaville, 2 layers of cotton. And I'm just going to center this and then sew it on. I like to just use my hand and crank my wheel for the curve just to make sure I get it nice and lined up. And then what I'm going to do is keep my tails on. I'm going to actually sew over them before I backstitch. That's just going to lock everything in place. So I just sew over them and then I'll trim them. Alright, so that is how we make our zipper panel. I'm going to mark the top, center, I grab my interior pieces. Alright, so now we're going to add the top band to the interior pieces. The zipper panel goes right in between them. So it's going to be sewed like that. So what I'm going to do first is mark the top and bottom centers of my interior. That way I can just line all those notches up. One side, here is the other. So I left this zipper pocket open. We're going to turn it right side out through this pocket. So I just kind of fold it and then follow that fold all the way down. And then cut a little notch. Okay. I'm going to start with my zipper pocket. I want to make sure that my zippers are opening the same way. So whenever they're closed, you want to just make sure that the pull is on the same side. And then we're going to go right side up. Match those center marks and then clip it in place. Now at this point you can just do a stay stitch so these 2 pieces are sewn together. Before you sew this, I'm just going to do all 3 of them at one time. Who else is sad that today is the last Yellowstone? That does not make me happy. I hope it's a good one. just repositioning these. Okay, now I'm going to open this up and I'm going to do a top stitch. I want to make sure that my pocket is pushed down. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Center the zipper and the panel. You can do a stay stitch if you want. I'm just going to add the other one. Yeah, we're Yellowstone junkies too. Me too. I know. I'm so upset. I can't imagine how it's going to wrap up. I heard they're confirming a Rip and Beth. That would be nice. I don't know. She's kind of, with her dad dying, she's gotten so soft. She's like a totally different character now. But I would watch it. I don't know how that came out. I know. The way the season started, and it's gone by so fast. But the way the season started has been crazy. I don't want to give out any info in case somebody hasn't watched it yet. All right, now we're going to open it up and we're going to do a top stitch along this side just like we did over here. All right, the interior is just about done. So this is what we're going to be seeing on the outside of the bag. You get that little pop of color. This is going to be a little bit smaller once we sew it to the interior or the exterior. But this is what you're going to see when you look in the top of the bag. And then of course we've got the zipper pocket on, on one side, and then the dual slip pocket on the other side. So the last step to finishing the interior is just to make the gusset. And that's just the piece of fabric that gives dimension, a diameter, not diameter, dimension? No, that doesn't sound right. Depth. It gives depth to the bag. So just like the inside, we have a band that's going to be sewn on the top. Not yellow torn. It happens. I think we all knew what you meant. All right, so we're sewing that down, and we're going to open it up and top stitch just like we did the interior. Looks like I cut my pieces a little bit big, which is no big deal. I cut my bands just a touch too big, which is fine. Okay, I have the center of my gusset marked. I'm going to go ahead and match that up. I'm going to clip my pocket out of the way. Open that up. I'm going to match my center line with the center notch that I made in the bottom and clip that together. I'm going to bring it up to the side, and I want my side pieces to match at that seam where I did my top stitching. So I'm going to start there. Make sure that's lined up. And then I'm going to fit the rest of it together if it's a little bit off, which mine is like a 1/16 of an inch. I don't even know if you can see that, a 1/16 of an inch off, which is no big deal. Okay, so I have the bottom and one side. I'm going to go ahead and clip up the other side. I deal with the corners at the very end. I'm just going to get that zipper tail out of the way. Okay, going to grab my pins and I'm going to pin the corners. When you're sewing with clips, you have to remove the clips before it goes underneath your sewing foot. With pins, you don't have to do that. And especially when I'm sewing the curve, I don't want those two pieces of fabric to shift when I pull my clip off. So just adding a couple of pins, I can sew right over them. I know my curve is going to be correct with my seam allowance, and life will be enjoyable. So I'm just going to add some pins there. My gusset yesterday was slightly too long. I had a heck of a time on the curves. For this bag, I know that the seam allowance, when you are sewing your zipper and your band together with the interior, is a little bit different than the rest of them. The seam allowance for the rest of the pattern, that may have been it, especially if it was just slightly. Yes. The only other thing that I can think about is, well, a couple of things. I would remeasure your pattern pieces to make sure that you cut them out according to the pattern. And then I always recommend interfacing your cotton prior to cutting it out of the pattern piece. When you interface cotton fabric, it does tend to shrink your cotton. So that could also be it if it happened with the main panel pieces or the gusset. Those are usually the first things that I go to, is the pattern pieces and seam allowance. All right, let's sew this on. When I sew, I like to fan this out so I don't get any kind of puckers in my fabric. I'm just going to pause really quick to cut my right where I started. I'll be more OCD with my seams next time. Okay, so that's done. And again, by fanning it out, you don't get those puckers in the fabric where it's bunched up together. So we're going to do the exact same thing on this other panel. Start with matching our centers, clip along the straight way, and then pin along the curves. Somebody asked me if I had OCD the other day. I was like, I don't think so, because I can make a mistake and be like, that's a mistake, and not have to like correct. If it's workable, like remember how I said this didn't line up? Somebody with OCD, I think, would have like stopped and held a press conference. But I can just be like, that's not a big deal. I can fix that while I'm sewing. So I don't think I have OCD. Let's do the curves. Another thing when you're attaching, me personally, when I'm attaching a gusset to 2 pieces of fabric, I like to be looking down at the gusset, and we're going to roll that fabric around instead of looking at the body and tucking that in. So that can make a little bit of a difference for me. I always find that my gussets come out perfectly when I'm looking at the gusset and not at the actual panel, tucking that in too. So I like to wrap the gusset around. If that, hopefully that makes sense, because there is a difference. I actually got a custom order from somebody yesterday, and she ordered 2 Kianas. I don't know, I think they're both for her. I'm not sure. So this has been a really popular pattern. I know this week I have a custom order for a Kiana. It's really pretty. She got a picture of a lily on some like red fabric. And then I have a custom order this week that I'm doing live for an Aries. Okay, so our gusset is all attached, and then now we sew. Exactly how I see my gussets, yeah. Sew your gusset. I know what you meant. My phone always autocorrects sew to see. It looks like yours is doing the opposite. Like, no, I actually meant sew. My pens. I'm probably gonna throw this. Well, she might still have a little life left in her. Let's hold on to her. Okay, now what I'm going to do is get my pinking shears and trim a little bit of this seam allowance out of my curves. It just helps it to lay down a little bit nicer. I hate autocorrect. This is not a custom order, no. This is just some new fabric that I've had in for a long time, and I've been wanting to make it. But what I'm going to do is post this. I have a set that I made, and I know that when I made this print, this plaid print, the first time I made it in an Aries in a mini wallet, and people like, I could not keep this in stock. So I actually have most of it done. I have to just finish it up, but I'm going to be making a Kiana with a regular size zip around wallet, and I'm going to post it in my Facebook group for purchase as a set for like 24 hours just to give them first dibs. And if nobody wants it as a set, then I'll just list it in on my website. I don't normally like listing sets just because I don't want to like make people feel like they have to buy. And like me personally, I don't use a wallet, so I would never want a set with a wallet. But I know there's a lot of people who do. So I'm going to offer it to them first. Okay, I'm going to unclip my pocket, and then I'm going to just sew open my side seams. How long have you been sewing on both platforms? So I started going live 3 years ago. Anytime I think of time frames, I have to remember where I was living. So I was living in Texas. Was I living in Texas or did I move here? about 2.5 years. I've been doing live. My husband suggested doing it like during the pandemic, and I was just so afraid to get in front of a live camera that I just did not do it. But I'm glad I did. Okay, so here's the interior of our bag. I really like the zipper overlay with the pocket. And then we have the dual slip pocket here. We have our finished zipper panel at the top. So I'm going to set this aside and then we're going to work on the exterior. So I'm going to first start with the zipper pocket on the exterior. This is the same way that I did the interior one. I haven't been to my summer room in days. I need to get in there. So I'm going to get done. Do it, Kathy. Thank you for trying a live on YouTube. I know there's a lot of people who don't get on TikTok a lot, which is why I like to transfer them over to YouTube. But I've also heard a lot of people asking to be able to interact on YouTube. So I figured, why not do it on a Sunday? One of these days, I'm going to be able to be multitasking enough to be able to just set it up and go live on both platforms at once. I have a couple different phones, so I could do it. All right, so for the zipper overlay, there's a tons of different ways that you can do it. The way that I like to do it is fabric right side up, zipper right side up, sew that down. Other pocket piece right side up. We're going to keep our zipper right side up and then sew that down. We're glad you did too. Thanks. 95% of my bag making one. Oh, I love hearing that, Natalie. I love my Lola Mini Denver wallet. Oh, good, Joanne. You and your little paw prints. The blue paw prints. I swear, every time I see your name, that's the first thing I see. I don't know if it's because we customized your notebook with the name Joanne, but that's literally burned in my brain. Good, Frida. Thanks, Diane. Okay, let me go ahead and add my zipper pull. You can sew this on with your zipper pull attached or like a prepared zipper. I just like the fact that I don't have to get the pull in and out of the way when I'm sewing it down. Okay, so that is what it's going to look like. With the right sides up, you're going to see the wrong side of the zipper. With the wrong sides up, you're going to see the right side of the zipper. So I'm going to set this aside. Normally, I would iron this down. Not that it's not flat. I just like it a little bit flatter. My iron is across the rim. Well, hold on. I might be able to. All right, while my iron is warming up, I'm going to go ahead and add my double-sided tape to my zipper overlay. I do it on the very edge. I can slap it in my head, just not on my machine. It's practice. I promise it's just practice. I'm learning so much also, and I'm glad. Oh, I'm glad that you found me too. I promise you could, Daph. All right, let me take my tape backing off. So here's the way that I design my Kianas. The front has a slip pocket. So the front of it's going to look like this. And then the back of it has a zipper pocket with the same fabric. So you get a little bit of the print on both sides. I like so much. Oh, good. I'm glad, Debbie. All right, so let me find where I need to install this. Make sure everything is nice and centered. And then I'm going to butt this up against the ruler because that way I know it's straight. There we go. Just press that tape in. And then now the first set of stitching is going to be along the outside. So because I'm using gray thread, I'm actually going to find somewhere with gray to go ahead and start my stitching. That way it doesn't look as noticeable. You can pull your threads through and knot them off. And I might do it. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let me do it. Let's just do it. I want to make sure that my starting thread is out of the way so I don't accidentally sew over it. Alright, so by pulling your thread through, the goal is to stop your stitching in the same hole that you started your stitching. And then pull that through. And that just gives you a seamless look around where you started and stopped. You can't, because you don't have double stitches, back stitching. Thought I was on the other hand. No, I posted in both of my Facebook groups that it would be YouTube. But I know sometimes it's confusing just because I always go live on TikTok. All right, tie those together. Let me step away for a second and iron this down before my iron goes off. Okay. Wish I could put my zipper away. You gotta use it, Jay. So I bought one a long time ago, and I think I like looked at it and I was like, there's no way I'm pulling this thing out every single time I need to use a zipper. And I just did not even try. I just kept practicing putting my zippers on, and the more that I did it, the faster it got, the easier it was. So I didn't give myself that handicap in the beginning because I knew I would. If I started using it, I would have to, it would probably be easier, but I would have to stop what I'm doing, pull it out, and it's just with me and my schedule, I need to like go as fast as I can. So I just didn't let myself. I think I still have it. I'm pretty sure I still have it. I usually watch you on TikTok, but I'm looking at you. Oh, good. I'm here. Hey, Arlene, how are you? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I love Arlene. Every single time I post a YouTube video, I swear her comment is like the first one that pops up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the excess fabric out from behind my zipper overlay, and I like to leave about 1/4 inch from my stitching. There's a 3-prong cut. Yeah, I've seen people do that too. I've actually seen some people like have it permanently adhered to their sewing table so that they don't have to get anything out. They just go right to it. The trick I have found to zippers, I don't think I have, oh, I do have one. The trick that I've found to putting your zipper pull on is putting it in a little tiny bit, like 1/4 of an inch, the tape. And then putting this in 1/4 of an inch. And then just pushing at the top, push these two. We're pushing up the tape and down the pull at the same time. And I just find that that's just the easiest way. So just in 1/4, I'm holding it with this thumb. In 1/4, uh-oh, it's gonna come off. In 1/4 here. Give it a little push at the top to get those two in. And then I'm pushing down at the top and up the sides. And it literally works every single time. That's how I do it. Okay, so we got the excess fabric behind our zipper overlay. I left behind 1/4 of an inch of fabric all the way around. I'm going to add more double-sided tape to the top and the bottom, right on that 1/4 inch of fabric that's left behind. It's taped to the sewing table. Try the fork, the towel holder, the jig, nothing. No, I just add them. Yeah, it does. It just takes a little practice, but I promise you, the more you do it, the easier it is. You can kind of hear phone when you click. Exactly. Yep, you're exactly right, Gail. You feel the little click once those two meet. It's such a nice pattern. I really enjoyed, but the zipper on wallet on the interior was too large, and then you can't. Oh no, yeah. I mean, I've been making that zip-around wallet for the longest time, and I know that I've changed my pattern pieces. I usually do that if it's a pattern I know I'm going to keep making. If there's a way that I can make it a little bit better, a little bit easier for me, then I will change the pattern. And I'm pretty sure the zip-around wallet was one that I did that on. I can't stop making the iconic. It's a quick little pattern too. Would have saved me some unnecessary. I know, same. Okay, so now with our pocket, we're looking at the right side of the zipper and the wrong side of the fabric. I'm going to center my overlay. And I'm not going to push it into the tape. It needs to come over just a little bit more. The good thing about double-sided tape is that you can just lift it up and reposition it if you need to. Okay, so that looks good. What I look for when I'm centering this pocket is you can either look at this space at the end, making sure that it's the same on both sides, or you can just look at where the curve is. This is probably the easiest to make sure it's centered. Or you can mark it if you're OCD, which is not me. That makes me feel better. Your live's on YouTube. Yay! Well, now I know what I'm going to be doing tonight. Practice. Find me the areas with your mods. Oh, good, Gail. I love that. Since you're giving away your secrets, what's the secret of getting the backing off the double-sided tape? I seem to struggle. So, the double-sided tape that I get from Wawak, I can't pull this stuff off when I've taped it. This stuff right here is called Wonder Tape, which is actually washable tape. So this is the one that I use when I'm going to need to remove it. So like my interior fabric, when I usually do my zippers, I use this tape because it will come off. It's just super light and it doesn't really tape. It does not have the strength of the leather tape from Wawak. I will link this in the video after I get off, but it's just Wonder Tape, double-sided Wonder Tape. So that's my secret. Use a different type of tape. All right, now we're sewing on the inside of the box. Remember when we sewed this on, we sewed around the outside. Now we're sewing on the inside. I literally have have no secrets. I mean, aside from where I get my vinyl printed, that's the only information that I don't give out. But other than that, I literally have no secrets. So if you have a question about anything, I'm happy to answer them. All right, I'm gonna get my pull out of the way. And that Wonder Tape, I actually get the knockoff brand from Amazon, and it's relatively inexpensive, and it comes with three rolls. And for me, it lasts a really long time. Okay, I'm gonna pull this thread through so I can knot it off. You're welcome. I absolutely love this pattern. Oh, thanks. I agree. That's my iron going off. I've been wanting to make this at like 85%, maybe 75%, just so it's right in between an Aries and a Kiana size. For me, I think that would be perfect. All right, so we have our zipper installed, and now with our pockets open, I'm going to trim along the bottom to get this excess fabric off. And then I'm going to pull this pocket down, align it with the bottom, and then sew down the side along the bottom and then back up. So I'm just going to clip this in place. These two tiny, thin little pieces of fabric, I normally have to take it to my domestic sewing machine just because this one is way too strong, but let's see what happens first. Do you have a needle positioned on your, I don't know. I purchased one of your notebook holders without telling me where you get your vinyl, where you share the specs. It feels so nice. The specs of the vinyl. I don't think, if that's what you're asking for, I don't think I have that. I find that if you pull while you're sewing, see how it kind of bunches up a little bit right here? If you pull while you're sewing, that doesn't tend to happen. Let's check the bottom. Yeah, bottom looks good too. I'm just going to trim off this excess fabric. I'm going to hit my zipper with my lighter just to prevent that from unraveling. Yes, I know there's different thickness depending on who's selling it. It's smooth. Smooth vinyl though, right? Nothing too special. Not to my knowledge. I don't think it's anything special. I don't think so. Okay, now what I like to do, so the majority of the work, I feel like I just burned my fingernail when I did that. The majority of your zipper is going to be hitting this edge when it closes, and then this edge when it opens all the way up. I like to add a little bit of E6000 glue right where that zipper meets that zipper overlay, just to reinforce it, give it a little bit more sturdiness. Because if you look, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches on the side. So anytime I can reinforce something, I'll do it. So this is just E6000 glue. I get these little ones from, I think, Walmart. My 2 so far. Okay, so this is going to be the back of the bag all done. I'm going to set this aside so that the glue can dry. And then the front of the bag gets a magnetic snap slip pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and add my name tape. Are there other companies besides who you use that does? Oh yeah, there's a ton of places that do custom printed vinyl. A ton. The place that I get my solid vinyl from, which is marinevinylfabrics.com, they just started doing custom printed vinyl. Now, I've never used them before, so I don't know the quality. I know that the quality of their solid vinyl is great, and from what I understand, they use the white solid vinyl to print on, so I would assume that the quality is great. But I've never used it, so I can't like stand behind their product. But that's one off the top of my head. All right, so I'm just gonna find the center. And install my name tape there. I use their solids. Yeah, their solids are really good. Really good. I've been meaning to order from them, but I know that the shipping price is just so high. So high. I can't wait to get back to the mainland. Okay. Name tape is installed. I'm going to set this aside. And there is a magnetic snap that holds this slip pocket in place. So I'm going to be working on that next. What I'm going to do is take the lining for that pocket, which is this right here. We're going to go right sides together and I'm going to clip it in place. I'm going to mark where the magnetic snap goes. Grab my hardware. I was making so many eyeglass case holders the other day. I'm almost out of snaps. Oh, that's the back. What programs do you use to create your personalized print? So I don't really talk a lot about my custom printed vinyl. That's really the only thing I kind of shy away from. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to center the hole for the back where the prongs of my magnetic snap go in. This is called a washer, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know. I'm going to outline where my prongs, the straight edges where my prongs go. And then with both pieces of fabric together, I'm going to poke through. That's going to ensure that when I put this pocket piece back on this main piece, that they will line up perfectly. All right, so I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to go ahead and work on our slip pocket. So right sides together, I'm going to sew them up. The wire frames for the bags. No, I haven't. Where do you get these snaps for the iconic? Trying to think. I'm pretty sure it's Gold Star Sewing. I'm pretty sure it's Gold Star Sewing. Let me look at my email. I'm pretty sure that's where I get it. No. Yeah, I think it is. going to do spring snap. Yeah, Gold Star tool. Gold Star tool. So I buy, how many? 1,000. They're double cap spring snaps. I'll put this up here if you want to do a screenshot. I don't think they have like an item number, but that's what it is. You want to do a screenshot. But for 1,000 snaps, I pay $100 plus shipping. It looks like I got a $5 discount. Those are the double cap snaps that I buy. But I know that there are some on Amazon. Alright. I'm going to grab my pinking shears and just cut down the seam allowance on the curve so it lays nice and flat once I turn it right sides together. Just an apple per. No worries. My first time watching. Oh, hi, welcome, Mia. Alright, so just trimming a little bit off of there so it lays flat when we turn it right side out. I like to put my bottom pieces together. And then I'll get this extra fabric out so I can do a top stitch. Okay, now we're going to top stitch these two together. Okay, now I'm going to install the magnetic snap. I like to do it at this point because if I had it in there when I did a top stitch, it would get in the way. You could use like a zipper foot. You could install it and then top stitch with like a zipper foot, but I don't want to have to switch out my feet. So I'm going to install the male part to the lining and then the female part to the main body. We're going to snap those in place and then line up everything. And then I'm going to do a stay stitch around the outside of it. So that's one way that you can install your magnetic snaps. Just do it by clipping both of the pieces of fabric together so that everything lines up when you're done. I mean, I'm sure that there's pattern. I don't even think my pattern told you where to install it. I think it just had these directions. Just because why do any kind of measuring or having to pull out a pattern piece when you get here to see where the hole is? Remember, we're not OCD here. All right, done. I'm going to go ahead and mark the center of the bottom just by folding it. Thanks, Dawn. I'm going to do the same thing with the back. I'll also going to clip this pocket up so that way when I sew my gusset to it, it's out of the way. And we're going to work on the gusset. So the shoulder strap connectors are attached to the gusset, so we're going to go ahead and get those set up first. Just going to add some double-sided tape down the center. I need to also grab some hardware. I don't know why I didn't grab that. I'm just grabbing the hardware for my shoulder strap. Okay. Take off the tape backing. Fold each side into the center. I like to have a little bit of space on the bottom and then taper the top like that. And what that's going to do is make this smaller than this part. So when we fold it over, it just kind of tucks behind there so you don't see that on the front of it. Is it necessary? No. It's just what I like to do. Okay, I'm going to mark where this gets folded over. I'll grab some more tape. Alright, I'm going to put a little piece on the top, put on my hardware. And then fold this over where I made that mark. I'm going to add a little bit more tape. This is going to hold it down on the side while I sew it. And then do the exact same thing with the other one. Okay, I'm going to grab my side pieces. These are going to get sewn on like this, and that tape is just going to allow it to stick to it while we're sewing it down. So I'm going to kind of eyeball the center. You can also mark the center of the top, center of the bottom, and then just kind of put those down like that. But again, I'm not into perfection. That looks pretty good. Okay, and then now we're just going to sew up across the top and then back down. Let me get my tension right. Anytime I change my tension, I like to just give a little pull to my threads just so everything is pulled through and it's not going to be starting a new stitch on new tension. I use a piece of Peltex underneath my foot when I'm coming down from the top because my foot right now is resting on that metal hardware. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing to the other one. Your eye is probably straighter than measuring. Alright, now what we're going to do is finish our gusset. So if you wanted to add purse feet to your Kiana, now would be the time to do it. We talked about it earlier. You would go in 1 inch from the long side and then up 3 inches, down 3 inches. And they would be positioned right here. I'm not going to do that. So what we're going to do essentially, this is going to be one side of our gusset. This is going to be the other side of our gusset. So we're going to start. I like to make sure that my seam allowance is right, I like to actually draw it on. I don't have like the measuring on my sewing plate. So I'm just going to mark the seam allowance just by marking a line. We're going to line up the edges, and then I'm just going to sew right on that line. I can't be perfect or I can't be finished. Exactly. This is the best day. My two favorite things watching it. Are the Eagles winning? Who are they playing against? And now we're going to open this up and do a top stitch along the bottom. Pittsburgh, but that's a good game. And then now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I haven't watched, well, I mean, I kind of watch football every now and then. It's just so hard living in Hawaii. It starts at like 7 o'clock in the morning. And like on Sunday, we're doing church. My team, I'm not going to tell you who it is, have been doing terrible last couple years, actually. All right, now we're going to open it up and do a top stitch along here, just like we did here. I don't have the center of this marked. I normally do, so I'm just going to line it up, add a mark. And I think I'm just going to add a little tiny snip. Alright, let's go. We're going to go ahead and add the gusset to the front and back. This is the back. It doesn't matter what you start with. I'm going to start with the back. So we're going to match up those little snips. And then just like the interior, I'm going to do the straight ways first. And then you can't pin vinyl, but I'm going to staple it. And that's going to hold everything in place. And then when I'm done sewing, I'm just going to take the staples out. So start on the straight bottom, bring this up to the side. My team did great today. I don't hear it. I don't even want to hear it. Are you guys going to make it into the playoffs, Dad? I was actually shocked about the Redskins. They've been playing so well this year. Well, at least they were up until a couple weeks ago. I haven't seen anything about them since then. Oh, everyone had to check my eyes. I thought I might need to change my glasses. Thanks, Tammy. I know, it's a weird angle. And on Sunday and on YouTube. All right, so I've got the straight ways clipped down. Now I'm going to grab my stapler. While I'm here, I may as well grab my staple remover. Okay. And then we're just going to staple around the edge. And then I like to open up my seam. You can sew that open, but I'm just gonna add a little staple there. And I'm doing it, I'm stapling outside of my seam allowance, so I'm not going to be sewing over these staples. All right, let's do it. I'm not sure, but I'm kind of getting excited. Thanks, Deborah. It looks backwards to make it go the way I usually see it. Yeah, I think it's a YouTube thing. For some reason, I can't figure out how to mirror it. Sorry. I didn't even think about that. It looks so backwards to you guys, I'm sure. Okay, I'm not going to take my staples out yet. I'm going to wait until after I finish the other one and then just take all the staples out at one time. So we're going to take the front, match up our center marks, and then do the exact same thing we just did. Am I allowed to heart you? Hey, Jay! Yes, you are allowed to heart me, but just you. If any other man does it, all right. So we're doing the straight waves first, and then we'll do the zipper or the corners. You're probably about to get a whole bunch of new followers. I wouldn't have said anything if I were you. That is Mr. Butters, Mr. Butterbags. All right, so now I'm going to work on my corners. It's a little bit tougher because we've got quite a few layers of fabric with the pocket, but just stay patient. All right, let's get this sewn. He doesn't have TikTok, so he never comes to my live, and he's always working when I'm live anyway. So I'm surprised he's here. Thanks for sharing her with us. Oh, thanks. Okay. Now that we have everything sewn together, I'm going to take my handy dandy staple remover and get those out of there. And then we're pretty much done. We're just going to sew the interior and exterior together. That one got stuck. Looks like I sewed over it. Let me grab my pliers. This was holding my seam open, and it looks like I just sewed over it. There we go. The tiniest little piece. We love you, Mr. Quarterbacks, too. You are a lucky man. I'm going to remind you of that later. When you ask me to let the dogs out. I'll be like, all this, this greatness can't be letting dogs out. Hi, Tara. All right, couple more. And then the fun part begins. Hi, all. I'm late today. So excited. Hey, Jan. I've just been wanting to get this bag done for a really long time, and I had the time. My husband was fed. There was leftovers, so I knew I wouldn't have to stop and go make dinner. And I came live. And then I figured it's Sunday, and I never give my YouTube peeps love, so why not go live on YouTube? All right, we got all the staples out. I'm going to go ahead and sew open my side seams. And then we're going to sew the interior and exterior together. Done. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Make sure my hardware, my D-rings are pointing down so I don't sew over them and they don't get caught. We're going to be using the pocket and the inside to turn it right side out. So I want to make sure that that pocket is unzipped. We're going to turn this right side out. Okay, now what I'm going to do to make sure all my pulls are going the right way or the same way, I'm going to open up this pocket so that way I can see when this pocket is open up that they're going the same direction. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck this in. And then I'm going to start with my side seams. I'm going to line those up and then we're going to clip everything together. That was not inside from my husband. It says so much that I think I Oh, you're welcome, Laura. First time live. Love your patterns. Thanks, Roxy. Welcome. So I start with lining my side seams up for the interior and exterior first. And that just kind of gives me a starting point, and then I'll go ahead and clip everything else together. Your zipper panel is going to want to stand up, which is going to cause problems sewing these two together. But if you just fold it over, fold it down, you can go ahead and get these clipped and sewn, and it'll stay out of the way. Alright, so that side's all done, and we'll do the same thing over here. Just make sure this is folded down. I was so excited yesterday when all the seams lined up. Isn't that the best feeling ever? Okay, and now we sew. Just gonna sew all the way around. Grab some water. Good evening. Doesn't really matter where you start. I like to just go really slow around these edges. It's gonna kind of be hard to see at this angle, so I apologize. After almost 6 years of sewing, I still feel the same way that way. We take whatever wins we can get. Alright, back at the start. I'm going to go ahead, just like I did the pocket, I'm going to go ahead and trim some of the seam allowance off just where the curves are. Again, that just helps everything to lay down a little bit flatter. And I just do it where it curves up. Okay. I'm going to turn on my iron. I'm going to turn this right side out. And I like to just kind of push and roll Using the zipper overlay part of the pattern, it actually gives you, what does it give you, like 8 inches of width, so it should come out like a charm. Alright, we're just gonna get all of our seams poked out. This would look really pretty with like some pink piping. Okay. Now we're just going to find our seam so that our interior is separate from our exterior. And then I'm just going to clip them down. So just like this last step, I'm going to start with my sides. I just kind of give it a roll, and that usually gets me where I need to be with my seams. Watch the magic happen. What foot do you typically sew with on your machine? I have portable walking foot, and I find the standard foot marks up my vinyl sometimes with the feed dogs. So I use the standard foot that came with the machine. It's nothing really special. I know that you can adjust the pressure of your feed dogs as well as the pressure of your foot. I didn't do that. I had a professional do it, but I remember my vinyl was getting those little striped lines on them before I had that done, and it had to do with the pressure. You can do it yourself. There's a lot of YouTubes if you're comfortable with doing that. But I was told to never mess with these two buttons. And the guy who actually did it, he has been doing sewing machines for a long, long time. He actually had this like pre-made acrylic piece where he just set it up there, and he knew where each piece needed to go. It was kind of fascinating. Oh, piping? Yeah, one of these days I'll do some piping. I'm going into that zipper pocket to press out my seam where the curve is. If you find that rolling it is not getting you that really good curve, you can just go in there and push it up. Interesting and good to know. You're welcome. Let me grab some more clips. Just gonna come up here and press out this. And then we're going to do a top stitch all around. And then there's only like 1 or 2 more steps, and this bag is done. I'm gonna go ahead and close this zipper pocket. Okay, we're done. Gonna close up this zipper pocket. I still have to sew it shut. I want to do my top stitching first. Alright, let's do it. Gonna start on the side. I like to go nice and slow on these curves. so pretty when you can see that top stitching. Uh-oh. I just want to make sure. Oh no. When I went over this side seam, I could feel the thread not catching. So it looks like, I don't know if just going through that, how it impacted my stitching, but I'm going to go ahead and just fix it. Just redo it. I know they sell like hump jumpers and stuff that you can use when you're going through a different layer of thickness, one layer of thickness to the other. This is what got it. But I've been using the sewing machine for so long, I can just feel it when the stitching isn't right. I'm just going to take it down a little bit further. Okay. Pull this through. I'm not going to tie it off. I'm going to go ahead. So my stitching stops right here. I'm going to start probably 3 stitches before and sew over that, and that's just going to kind of lock those stitches in. And everything should be good. Where do you get your solid vinyl? marinevinylfabrics.com. I use folded up vinyls as a hump jumper. That's smart. Yeah, isn't it a pretty gray? They have a big variety of colors. Okay. Feel like we're good. Oh no, we're not good. I'm probably going to pull out my bobbin. It's a bobbin issue because it's the thread from the bottom. But it's not even catching. Thanks, Tammy. It's the weirdest thing, it's just not even catching. I'm not going to do anymore. I'm probably going to pause right here on the top stitching because what I like to do, there's little tiny holes left behind, which isn't really that big of a deal. I like to get a pressing cloth and put it over top and then put my iron over top of that, and that usually kind of seals the holes up a little bit, but I don't want to keep sewing over and over the same holes. I want to get those fixed first. So I'm going to pause the top stitching here, get those out later, and then re-top stitch. But I am going to go ahead and sew up the interior pocket, the zippered pocket, and then add the shoulder strap. Because the shoulder strap, I don't attach it. You can attach it directly here, but I actually use a lobster clasp. That way, I'm also going to leave these a little bit long. That way it's interchangeable. If you don't want the shoulder strap, you can take it off and put on a crossbody strap. I'm going to pause here with the top stitch and then come back. Go ahead and sew up the zippered pocket. Are you close to the end of your bobbin? No, I don't think so. It was pretty full when I started. Yeah, it's pretty full. It fell on the floor when I pulled it out. I love how calm you stay. It's only happening because I'm live. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's no need to freak out. It is what it is, right? I mean, it's not the ideal outcome, but getting frustrated and all that, it's not going to change anything. So I try to remain calm. All right, let me get, and you know what's crazy is I'm sure as soon as I get these little holes out and redo it again, it'll work like a charm. But it's probably just because I'm on live, which is okay. All right, let's sew our pocket shut. I like that sewed together with no problem at all. And then I need to add the lobster clasp to my shoulder strap. And then she's all done for the moment until I fix the outside. But if you were with me at the beginning, remember how I said adding this little fabric to the top will give you a pop of something different on this bag? And that's what I meant. Because you kind of see it over the curve on the bottom, on the front and the back. But so it just gives you a little different texture, a little different color, a little bit of extra pop. All right, let me get my shoulder strap. And some ribbons. Looks like it skipped some stitches on this strap. Let's see if I can fix it. If not, I can just make another one. That's too easy. I actually cut out two. I'm so used to cutting out two straps for my bags because most of them have two straps. So if I can't just fix this, I'll just make another one. There's some big stitches. There we go. All right. It's almost the other sometime anyways, right? Exactly. It probably skipped because that's the side where the tape is. I don't see any other skipped stitches. But when I was coming back down, it probably just got tired. All right. I'm going to start about 3 stitches before the last one. I'm not going to back stitch. There we go. Take a look. Oh yeah, that's good. This is the row that I just did. It looks like it landed in the same holes as the first one. All right, so I'm going to tighten my stitches. And then there's a little bit, I don't even know if you'll be able to see that, just the tiniest bit of thread left behind where I started and from the last one. I'm just going to singe those down. And unless you are on live watching this be made, you would never know. Those are the 3 stitches that I overlapped. I don't know if you can see them with the light. And then the ones down here on the bottom are going to be a little bit easier. and just cinch those in place. All good. Okay, let's add our lobster clasp. I had the big one from Wallets the other day. Thanks, Natalie. Add my rivet. Do the same thing over on this side. Set this. Good. And then now all I have to do is a little bit of top stitch. But again, this could have been riveted directly to the D-ring, but this just allows them to be interchangeable with different straps, shoulder strap, crossbody strap, etc. That way you don't have to wear this. If you wanted to wear a crossbody strap, you can actually remove it and you're not going to be forced to wear two straps at one. But that is the Kiana bag, almost. But I'm going to stick an iron down on the inside to get out any wrinkles. So we have the slip pocket with the magnetic snap on one side. We have the zipper pocket on the back. We have a zipper panel closure with a zipper pocket inside and then a really nice dual slip pocket on the other side. All right, so I'm going to jump off, go watch a little bit of Yellowstone, have some dinner, and I'm not sure when my next live is. I'm sure it'll be on TikTok though, but I do have 2 custom orders that I have to make live. So if you're in either of my Facebook groups, I will post probably tomorrow. I'll post my schedule for the week. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Evelyn. This has been the fastest 2 hours of the day. Thanks, Deanie. What size metal tag? This right here? 2 inches. 2 inches by a 1/2 inch. All right, I will see you guys this upcoming week. Bye.